You're watching KTN Prime. We thank you for staying with us. Let's stay with that story by Sharon Momanyi and focus on this Super Bowl, because this Super Bowl illustrates some of the rates that Kenyans have been paying since April this year to the National Hospital Insurance Fund. If you're earning 5,999 and below, you end up paying 150 shillings. If you're earning between 12,000 14,999, you're paying NHIF 500 shillings. Let's look at the other board. If you're earning between 20,000 to about 24,000, you're paying 750, and if you're earning 100,000 and above, then you end up paying NHIF 1,700 shillings per month. Now, these amounts have raised a lot of concern, because initially Kenyans were paying 320 per month. That has been since 1988, when the rates were last reviewed. In studio, I have Wilson Sossion. He is the NHIF Secretary General, but for purposes of this discussion, he is the Trade Unions Congress Chairman. We'd like to let you know that we invited a representative from NHIF. They declined our invite. Mr. Sossion, thank you for joining us on KTN Prime. What are your concerns with the new NHIF rates?
Yeah, thank you. The new NHIF rates, one, are unconstitutional, because the Kenya Constitution, Section 10, provides for public consultation on matters of policies and governance, and therefore the new rate does not meet the constitutional threshold, because the fund did not consult the critical stakeholders exhaustively. That is one. Two, we raised a lot of reservations when these proposals came up, because the rates as it is through the banding process exploits the middle income earners, and the middle income earners, who number about close to 500 to 1 million, are expected to finance the health care of 43 million Kenyans. That includes the rich and also the poor. And we think here there is no equity, and it does not comply with the spirit of social solidarity, which is within the insurance policy. That is why we recommended 5 amendments.
So the middle income earners, teachers, most teachers fall into this category? Teachers,
civil servants, the servicemen, the armed forces, and the rest of the workers will be easy targets and soft targets of this program to raise money to finance Medicare of the rich, guys earning huge salaries or in big businesses, but they are paying a maximum of 1,700, and also targeting the low-income earners, the self-employed. The poor will heavily rely on the payroll workers. Okay,
Mr. Sossion, here's the thing. The unions are threatening strike if this is not resolved, but allow me to take you back just a little bit to what you said. In other words, you're saying that these new rates were implemented without consulting the different trade unions.
Indeed, I can confess that the Trade Union Congress of Kenya, which brings together many unions, majority of whom are in the public service and who finance up to 80% of the total income of NHIF, were not consulted. We did not complete consultations. We were invited by NHIF to a meeting in Naivasha, and we agreed to convene again after 1 week to progress the consultations, because we had given recommendations that we think will help the fund, and the fund will not need to come back to us again, especially when you peg contributions on percentage. There will be equity across the board, and also considering the fact that government has never contributed even a single cent to the fund, and is a standard practice the world over that when workers contribute a certain percentage, the government must match that contribution by double the figure. That is why we've recommended 3%.
Okay, just hold on. So government. What happened to the consultations?
We were shortchanged by the fund. They unilaterally decided to proceed and gazette the rates, which we've contested since the date of the gazettement of 6th of February. And when we threatened the different affiliates of Trade Union Congress, whom you know too well, that when they pronounce strikes, they mean it. When all the affiliates issued the notices and the NHIF decided to engage us, and that is why we were in a meeting today. And today could have been the commencement of those industrial actions, and therefore we decided to set aside that that agenda. And as TUC, we were engaged in a meeting today, and we made our issues very clear that one,
Yes.
revoke the gazette notice so that we can sanitize the environment of negotiations, and we get down to quick negotiations and agreements so that the NHIF can then proceed and gazette new rates. We are not saying NHIF should proceed and continue levying 320 shillings. We know they cannot do most of the services, but we are saying let us sit and negotiate and agree on rates that are acceptable to workers, that's affordable to workers. You know too well, salaries have been frozen. SRC is very busy freezing negotiations for new terms, whereas government is pushing very hard for us to pay more in the social schemes and the other sectors, the other areas. But then we are saying, let us sit down and negotiate. And
so
we have recommended very strongly, one,
Yeah.
that we shall accept percentage. And percentage will provide equity. And we've recommended one.
What percentage are we looking at?
Now we've recommended 1.5%. And actually, that is sufficient money. It's several billions above what was being raised at 320. That is one, considering the inflation and the economic challenges that workers are facing, and that salaries have not been reviewed. It's completely and grossly unfair to adopt the new rates that were gazetted. That is why we've insisted it must be gazetted,
So that is true.
and then work on percentage. That's 1.5%, and then also proceed and consider exemption of superior schemes that other workers are enjoying in the various employers level. NHIF must also recognize existence of other schemes. What we are talking about here is that there must be harmony between superior comprehensive schemes run by employers at the employers level, and also we must also give a lifeline to the fund, but not at exorbitant approach as it was before. And also government must put in their part of the contribution as well, so that eventually the fund should also be able to support the indigent, the poor Kenyans who can't pay, who can't afford. Government should be able to pay for them.
Okay, I need you to clear something up for me. There is apparently an alternative medical scheme that teachers have gotten into with Aeon Minet. How far has that gone? What are the plans in it? What is going on with that plan?
It's already a sealed deal because it's a product of collective bargaining process which we demanded, which we negotiated in the previous negotiations, and we all agreed, and that Teacher Service Commission should proceed and procure a group medical cover, comprehensive for teachers. And teachers will be able to access outpatient services, inpatient, international evacuation. It's comprehensive
Aren't those
as
the
it is.
same?
And therefore, that has been absolutely concluded, and Teacher Service Commission has signed an agreement, a contract with the service provider through competitive bidding, which went through the normal tender procedures, and therefore it is being rolled out from 1st of July.
So in other words, Mr. Sossion, what you're saying is that teachers will have NHIF, and then they'll have this alternative cover as well by Aeon Minet.
NHIF is statutory deduction, and that has been made very clear even in our meetings today, that the new NHIF rates will not address the comprehensive medical cover. It is statutory deductions that is going to breach the runaway cost of operations. Since the last time that the rates were reviewed was 1989, and of course inflation, the cost of medication and other things have really gone up. So these rates of NHIF are statutory. Every other Kenyan will pay, whether you have a superior medical scheme
or not.
It will be paid. But then the new scheme for teachers is a comprehensive cover that will see elaborate and comprehensive treatment of the contributors and their dependents. And this is not a new scheme. The bankers have got the superior and comprehensive scheme.
Everyone
and
has
all other workers, different employers. So really, this is far and above what NHIF is providing. And there should be no confusion and there should be no contradiction. And we are urging all teachers everywhere within the country to register effectively and massively within the scheme, understand the scheme, understand their privileges and rights before the 1st of July. And from 1st of July, no teacher will spend any money to access medical care in whatever form. And teachers with chronic illnesses and complications that requires even international evacuations will be addressed. Teachers who travel around East Africa will be treated at designated hospitals within.
Wilson Sossion, NAS Secretary General, for purposes of this discussion, is speaking to us as the Trade Unions Congress Chairman. Looking at the new NHIF rates and what indeed they mean for workers in the country, what are some of their grievances with the new rates? What plans do they have for workers in the country? And really, if there are alternative medical schemes that have been put up for workers in the country. We thank you for staying with KTN Prime. Let's remind you of a big question tonight. That big question is based on our first story that we had this evening, where some students of Garissa University College are pleading with the principal to consider reopening the college for the sake of those who are willing to go back. That forms the basis of our big question tonight. We're asking, should the Garissa University College be reopened for those who are willing to go back? That is our big question tonight. And if I may, if the director is willing to do this, I would like to pose this question back to Wilson Sossion. Wilson, you have students who are now saying Garissa University College should be reopened. You are on record telling teachers not to go back. The CS Education is on record saying 95 schools have been closed. What are your thoughts on the fact that some students want this college reopened?
I want to say accurately, we are aware that the students who were continuing with studies were relocated to Moi University. And indeed, at Moi University, there are some who could not settle, and they were relocated to other campuses. The new development needs to be audited properly. These could be stage-managed activities so that it looks like students are pressurizing yes, it could be some bit of mischief by people who want to force the reopening of Garissa University. Our position is that it's not yet time for the university to be reopened. Let the students proceed to the rest of the campuses. And if anything, we'll be pressurizing the Cabinet Secretary Education to also allow students who have not reported at Garissa Teachers College, a huge number, to move to other teacher training colleges, and lecturers who have not reported at Garissa Teachers Training College, and we hear they're due to undergo disciplinary process, to also be redeployed elsewhere. Nobody should be forced in the face of the threat to their very own life. We maintain our position. All
right, so should the Garissa University College be reopened for those who are willing to go back? Let us know what you think. Tweet us at KTN Kenya, at Lindo Gutu, at Ben_Kitili. This is a new development from Garissa. We'd love to know what you think. We're taking a short break. We'll be back.